I'm Jamie from MultiPower. We're here at Bodylines this evening doing a free sample night for John and the guys. They've supported us for a few years now, so it's about time we said thank you. So basically what I've got here today is we've got a few different types of proteins, i.e. a mass gainer. We've got 100% whey concentrate here, and then we've got the tip-top cream of the crop isolate. So there's a difference obviously between all these three types of proteins. We'll start with the isolate. Basically protein goes through a filtration stage, and what happens when protein is filtered is unwanted carbohydrates and fats are taken away each time it's filtered. So you start with your basic byproduct of dairy, which is whey. That whey is then filtered and you get your whey protein concentrate. It's an efficient form of protein. It's fairly rapidly absorbed by the body, but this is what another filtration stage does. It produces isolate, which is literally absorbed by the body within 10-15 minutes. So it's super quick. So great if you need to stay lean, because there's very little fat, very little carbohydrate on it, but the absorption rate is super fast. So great for recovery, great for staying lean. On the flip side, we've got your mass gain. And the mass gain usually comprises of a higher level of carbohydrate to protein. And the whole point of this is so you get the carbs, quick release carbs, maltodextrin, saccharose, dextrose, things like this, into the bloodstream nice and quick to force that protein into the muscle cell to get that repair kick-started to the maximum. So your mass gainer usually will comprise of a 70-30, 60-40 carbohydrate to protein blend. Down at the front here, we've got an all-in-one explode. The all-in-one explode for me is one of MultiPower Professional Range's best products. It comprises of 5 different proteins, so some quick, some medium and slow release proteins. It's also got an ingredient called Vitargo carbohydrate, which is the isolate of the carbohydrate world. It's absorbed super quick by the body to get that to kickstart that recovery and make sure that you're going to get like 110% out of your workout each and every day. Other items from the professional range. Here we've got an NO Extreme workout, and here we've got some BCAAs. The NO Extreme workout is predominantly a pre-workout drink. So basically what we've got in there is a little bit of creatine monohydrate, we've got some beta-alanine in there, we've got some caffeine and guarana as the stimulant, we may have a little bit of L-glutamine and a good amino acid profile. So basically we're always looking to kickstart your recovery even though it's a pre-workout. The BCAAs, your branch chain amino acids, your L-leucine, your L-isoleucine and your L-valine are the key amino acids to kickstarting and the building blocks to recovery. So basically adding BCAAs or amino acids into the diet really maintain the body's flow of protein throughout the day. So obviously while your body's digesting your food, and it's drip feeding your body that protein and carbohydrate, the supplements are there giving you something instant. So the recovery is always like the key to what we're trying to achieve here. On the other hand, we've got a sports food range. The sports food range comprises very, very tasty RTDs and bars. And you know, really this is what's carried the company for 35 years. We were established in 1976. We came across to the UK in 1981 as one of the first companies to bring protein to the shores of the UK. And basically what it comprised of was ready-to-drinks and bars. And as you can see down there, we've got a very good selection of pre-workout, during workout and post-workout supplements here, along with your bars, protein based, and we've also got a new protein flapjack there. Now the idea of the ready to drinks is pure convenience. You can get it on the go and make sure that you get the maximum out of your workout. If you were to forget maybe your shaker with your preferred choice of powder or supplement, pre or post workout. So here we've got something like the Red Kick Still, Fizzy rather. This is basically an energy drink which comprises of guarana and caffeine, a reasonable milligram serving, so it gives you a nice kind of high state, but also brings you down quite gradually. Not full of sugars like some other drinks can be, and so it kind of maintains a good pace throughout your workout. We've got the Energy Charge here, which is a triple carb blend carbo energy drink. So basically there's two ways I'd use this. One, most importantly, to stop the body from going catabolic, because if you're trying to maintain or build lean muscle, that's the last thing you want your body to do. But also, if you live that kind of high-paced, hectic lifestyle when work comes first, then one of these drinks is really going to sort of inject the body with a bit of energy, carbo-based, to try and like support a workout when you're trying to get into the gym, as well as look after your busy lifestyle. Post-workout drinks like the whey protein drink, this is a fantastic product. This is 23% BCAAs, and if we refer back to the professional range here with the BCA powders, very, very important to your recovery and building a lean muscle.
Where would the BCA powders come from in natural food form?
See, BCAAs would be pretty hard to find in natural food. I couldn't answer that, like, honestly, but what I do know is that, let's say, a chicken breast would have a certain amount of amino acids in it.
Right.
If you were to mix that chicken breast maybe with some pulses, you know, and then maybe something else as a supplement, then you might start finding a full amino acid profile.
Yeah.
And a full amino acid profile is 22 amino acids. You know, a simple, you know, proper protein should contain a minimum of 9 amino acids. So basically, when, for example, you eat some eggs, you know, people talk about that being a very good source of protein. If you were to add some beans to that, you would then have a full protein, which is a great example of where maybe one protein source isn't enough to get that full amino acid profile. And that's really where your supplements do come in and help. Or, unless you've got the time, you know, I would always recommend, and we as a company would always recommend, get it from your diet.
Yeah, and where does the company come from originally, America? Where does the company come
MultiPower,
from?
we're a German company.
Oh, right.
So we're based in Hamburg.
Yes.
As I say, we were established in 1976 by two guys, university students who were pretty much kind of like food dietitian enthusiasts.
Yeah.
And yeah, being a German company, there's some very important rules about, you know, I suppose the legislations that are put in place that we have to follow as a company. It's very, very strict in Germany. It is actual law that we give you percentages of what makes up our supplements. You know, a great example of this, which you don't get in a lot of brands, certainly in the UK and the US, is if you were to look on the back of your protein here, we have to state by law that this is a protein blend supplement. So we use an isolate protein and a whey protein concentrate. Now what you'll see in the UK and the US is a lot of the time the high percentage margin ingredient has to come first on the ingredients list. Whereas in Germany, we not only have to put that ingredient first, but we also give you a percentage. So you kind of know what you're getting for your money. And this for me is absolutely key. So here we've got ingredients, whey protein isolate, fantastic. It's the more effective, more expensive form of protein. As I explained earlier, you know, the absorption rate of isolate to whey protein concentrate in a standard whey protein, there's no contest. And so we use 60% of isolate, and then we use 25% of whey protein concentrate, a slightly cheaper, slightly less effective form of protein. However, these are the two kinds of proteins I want to see in like my products, the two best forms of protein. We could talk about digestive enzymes and peptides, but that would be another conversation altogether. I think when you're looking to buy your proteins, you want to see isolate as your first ingredient, if it's a UK or US based product, or if it's like us, a German product, to see 60% isolate is very encouraging.
So what are the price ranges of these products?
Well, since we've had the VAT increase, it's pretty phenomenal, to be honest. You would generally be looking at around about £55 for something like this, which is 60% isolate, 20% whey protein concentrate, and then now you'd be stacking, 20% on top of that. So you're looking at around about £60 to £65 for a predominantly isolate type product. Your mass gains, things like this, are obviously going to be a lot cheaper because generally, it is a higher carb blend, and maltodextrin, saccharose, sucralose, fructose, these kind of like sugar-based carbohydrates are a lot cheaper than whey protein. So something like this, you'll be looking at around about £40. That will be including the VAT. Something like your whey protein isolate, again, you're going to be looking at the high end of £60. So, it really does depend on what your goals are. If your goals are, you're serious about your training, you're serious about your recovery, maybe you compete, or ultimately your goal is to maintain lean muscle or stay as lean as possible, then an isolate's going to be for you, there's no doubt about it.
What's the reaction time on these products?
Reaction time, when you say reaction time, do you mean seeing results?
Yeah,
or do you mean
seeing results when you're working out and taking it?
Okay, well I would give any product a good 6 weeks to regulate in the body. That's a definite.
Yeah.
Like anything, I think if you change your diet, whether you go from high glycemic carbs to low glycemic carbs to see how lean you can get through that kind of change, or from changing from a mass gain to an isolate, I would be looking at 6 to 8 weeks for it to regulate in the body. I think it's the same for many things. If you want to get into using creatine to bulk, Crealkaline to bulk, some of these pro-hormone type supplements, they really need to regulate in the body, and the body needs to get used to them. It's the same with fat burners. You're never going to see major results from fat burners in a week or 2 weeks. You really need to trust in the supplement or trust in the nutrition change and really run with it, because if you don't, then you're going to get sort of mixed signals. And again, it all depends on the individual. What might work for me in 4 to 6 weeks may not work for someone else in 4 to 6 weeks, just purely because of a genetic.
And it depends on how they work out as well.
And yeah, absolutely. I mean, I tend to go generally on, isolation movements. I think when you start mixing your training regimes and going high intensity or HIIT training, that's when you can really see dramatic results, purely because the afterburn it's outstanding really, compared to like your general kind of isolation movements and typical bodybuilding workouts. It's all about regulating the heartbeat. So if you regulate the heartbeat where the body basically can't get it back down to a resting normal rate, that's when it kind of tends to really sort of you see quicker results. But again, it all depends on the individual, all depends on your diet first and foremost, because if your diet's not right, then you're not going to get the benefits out of spending the money that you're going to spend on supplements.
Yeah.
You're not going to get the synthesis, you're not going to get the transportation of, whether it's the proteins or the tabs or cap supplements that you're buying into. They're not going to be as efficient if like your diet and the vitamins and minerals and your water levels aren't correct to make sure that it's all transported around the body so you get the proper results.
Yes. And you were talking about diabetes earlier, and you seem to know a lot about that.
Oh, it's really just through little bits that you pick up on your travels and things like that. I'm in a fortunate position that I speak to some of some of the best guys, I suppose, in the southern region. I'm walking in and out of some of the meccas of bodybuilding, strength, endurance training, for strong men and powerlifting. So basically, I get to speak to a lot of people who have been in the game a long time, and they're quite happy to offer their information to me. And yeah, really, I mean, diabetes you can contract really through poor diet. You know, we're talking high glycemic foods, carbohydrates especially, you know, high sugar carbohydrates that basically the body
include alcohol as well.
It does indeed, because you know alcohol is high sugar, and what happens is when you intake sugar into the body has to produce insulin to break it down, and if you consume too many of these types of foodstuffs and liquids, then your body almost can no longer produce the amount of insulin that's needed. So you know, this is how people contract diabetes through a poor diet.
Yeah. So where can people get your products from?
MultiPower, you know, generally are sold in independent gyms, like John's here. You can buy online from multipower.co.uk, and you know, really with regards to the professional range, it's extremely sports specific in the fact that we are looking at developing, or we have developed this range for, you know, your bodybuilders, your mixed martial arts, MMA fighters, guys that kind of want a serious product with serious ingredients. It's aspartame free, which a lot of study has gone on about and research, which I think is a good thing. The sports food range has a different outlook. It's more for maybe like a men's health, kind of, if you're looking for that kind of look, men's health, men's fitness kind of magazine look, you're looking to stay lean and toned, then the sports food range I think is possibly more for you. I would always endorse both ranges, but they are very, very different. We definitely wanted to provide a range for, you know, let's say gyms such as Bodylines, you know, in the fact that we're looking at some serious trainers and athletes, and hence why you have like the BCAAs, the creatines, the L-glutamines, all these separate supplements. We don't necessarily try and chuck it all into a wonder protein, because quite frankly I think your stomach struggles to, you know, sort of digest those kind of things all at once.
Yes.
It's not that clever, you know. I would be looking at keeping it to a bare minimum of protein and carbs, and then adding like maybe some other supplements around it, like your BCAAs, your creatine, L-glutamine, things like that. So yeah, it's a very, very different range. But as I say, independent gyms, we've got, you know, we're in touch with some health food stores and, you know, kind of your supplement stores. But yeah, generally a really good place and a great reference point for the business is multipower.co.uk. You'll find out all the nutritional information that you need for both ranges. You'll see recommended retail prices, so you can see maybe like sort of if your local gym is selling some MultiPower, that obviously, you know, they're giving you a good deal, and,
yes.
and you know, maybe like the independent gyms can sometimes be a much better place to go and get your supplements, whether it's MultiPower or not. So, you know, that's definitely one for the independent gyms to, obviously it's up to them what they do with the prices, but I tend to find that a lot of them just go under that recommended retail price or an online price, so obviously, yeah, absolutely, so they can actually sort of make some money out of, you know, what is secondary spend at the end of the day.
Yes.
You know, I definitely believe in, when I walk into a gym, it's good to see an owner who is definitely into the industry, or has maybe competed, or is a personal trainer at, you know, the very minimum. You know, I'm not too fussed about amazing state-of-the-art equipment. I think as long as it's got what you need for legs, a good hack squat, vertical press, squat rack, and good isolation, you know, machines and heavy dumbbells. You know, don't really care what sort of state they're in. I think as long as you can work every body part to the max, that's the main thing.
Yes.
And then of course I want to see supplements, because if you do forget your shaker and your powder or whatever supplements you're using, you know, I really want to make sure that I'm going to get something within that 20-minute window of finishing my workout. Because for me, some people say it's 20 minutes, it's half an hour, it's an hour. I would have to go with the 20-minute window post-workout. I think it's vital that you get some carbs, some form of carbohydrate in your body, some form of protein in your body, to obviously prevent your body going to a catabolic state.
Yeah. How did you hear about Bodylines Gym?
I heard about Bodylines Gym because I work for MultiPower. It was basically an account that we've had, we've lost, we've had. I think that's the way that the supplement kind of industry goes. You know, a lot of it is down to price point these days, but certainly there has to be an element of quality as well. So, you know, John here has switched between MultiPower and CMP.
Yeah.
For me, two great brands. You know, got a lot of time for Kerry Case and what he's done for CMP and what he's done for sports nutrition in general over the last 25, 30 years. I mean, you can't really watch some form of MMA or UFC or boxing or, you know, something like that, you know, any kind of athletic sport where you don't get like Kerry Case's name mentioned. I think MultiPower in general, you know, quality speaks for itself. We're the #1 selling brand in Europe. And to be fair, we've been going 35 years, and I think that's a testament to the quality of ingredient and, you know, basically the ethos behind the company. And I certainly know that the Germans like to always be first at everything, so, you know, I suppose that's a good thing really when it comes to it. But yeah, you know, I think, you know, Bodylines have been a good customer over the years, and really that's how I found out about it.
Yeah, thanks very much.
No problem. Cheers.
Right, you can stop back to stop train. Good. No, not parrying, blocking. Good. Good. I'm going to have both hands. 1, 2, 2 gloves. 2 gloves making block and parry. Good hands. Block, block, good.